Welcome to Thoughts from the Road today. Today I want to go into a very controversial topic. No, we're not going to be talking about politics today. We're going to talk about something much more controversial. I want to talk about speeding. Yeah, speeding. I would say we've all made the choice to speed, but there would always be that one person, I have never gone over the speed limit. So we'll keep this simple. I know that I have sped. I've made that choice to go over the speed limit. A lot of times in that 1 to 5 with the justification, well, that's expected. I've also done the 10 plus because I'm running late and I need to get somewhere. So I was thinking about it and I was wondering, what does the Bible have to say about speeding? So I went on and I did what every good studier of the Word would do, and I did a search for speeding in the Bible. And guess what? Never in the entire Bible does it talk about speeding, or driving for that matter. So does the Bible have anything to say about speeding? Well, I think it does. As I was reading in 1 Corinthians, I came across chapter 10, where Paul is talking to the church. And he says something very interesting. He says, all things are lawful, but not all things are profitable. All things are lawful, but not everything will build up. Well, Paul, I've got some issues with what you're saying here. Because last time I checked, killing somebody is not very lawful. And yet you say all things. That's strange. You know, if I was writing it, I'd probably say something like, when obeying the law, remember God's law. But he doesn't. He says all things. And it got me thinking that most things we can justify. Kind of coming back to speeding. I can justify going above the speed limit. That 55 zone really should be a 65 zone. So if I'm going 60, it's not really speeding. I can also justify I'm running late and I've got a load I have to deliver, so if I drive a little bit faster, I'll get there on time. So what do we do with this? What do we do with this? Some things or all things are lawful, but not all things are profitable. But you see, Paul was talking about to the church in Corinth about an issue of eating food that was offered to idols and whether it was right or wrong. And one of the things about that food, that meat that was offered to idols was that it was cheap, it was inexpensive. And for families trying to get by, it was a great opportunity to put meat on the table for their family. But yet it had been offered to idols. It had been given in a very ungodly way. So was it right or was it wrong? And Paul said, all of it is lawful. There's nothing that says you can't do it. But is it profitable? He continues on after talking about the meat that was offered to idols. He says, whether you eat or drink, whatever you do for the glory of God. And I want to take this back to that idea of speeding. By speeding, are we giving glory to God? You see, you could argue and say, well, what does my driving have to do with God's glory? I'm the only one that sees it. For every truck driver out there, you know that how people drive affects your life. Whether they cut you off in traffic or whether they are just driving in that blind spot and you go to turn and there's a car there. How we handle ourselves, even when we feel like we are all by ourselves, will affect somebody. It will give a reflection of who we are. And this comes back to what Paul said, with everything that we do, it needs to be focused on giving God glory. So I bring the question back to you. Is speeding right or wrong? I go with what Paul says. No matter what you do, you can find the justification. But that's not the question. The question is God getting the glory in your life? Is what you are doing bringing Him honor? So, have a safe journey. Keep your eyes on the road.